Hello, it's Josh here from Racing to Profit. Hopefully you can hear me with a preview of, can you believe it, the Summer Plate um, from Market Rasen on Friday at 2:40. I'm recording this on Thursday afternoon, and I say, would you believe it, because I'm really super. The star of the show is running for myself and fellow shareholders, so I thought I'd have a quick whiz through. As can often be the case with her, I get more biased, I suppose, as the race gets nearer, and at times maybe my judgment can be slightly clouded, especially when looking at a race like this. What did I want to say? Well, firstly, the rain has come, which isn't ideal. It's meant to be the summer plate, and there looks like there may be a bit of good to soft in the going, which is a bit frustrating, even more so considering they watered the track on Monday and Tuesday. I'd have thought there was kind of some rain in the forecast, so I can't quite get my head around that. Hopefully, the rain kind of abates on Thursday into Friday, and it's not too bad. Kind of good to soft, good in places will be fine. Um, Although ideally it would have been proper summer jumping ground. But there we go. That's the weather gods and the overzealous watering gods for you. But hopefully she can still put her running in. I'll get onto her in kind of a moment. And the race. If I just jump over to the market, I suppose the point of this uh, view here is just an indication of how open the race is, certainly at the moment, market wise. 6-1 the field. The market's been up for kind of 24 hours or so, I think, and nothing's really been backed as yet. We shall see what moves kind of Friday morning, given a fair few of these have kind of been off the track and having their first run in a little while. The market may well be informative. We shall see. Really Super is currently kind of 18, 16 in places. She may well drift. We shall see. Possibly be 20s in the morning. And kind of looks a good each way price. And I think we're quietly confident of a decent run. She's bouncing at home. Amy's rarely had her in better form, and all credit to Amy. Jack, who's put in lots of work with her, especially on the schooling ground throughout her career to date, and jumping career, obviously. And Connor, her lad, who dotes on her, and various other members of the team as well, have created, have kind of put in loads of work and helped create what Super is, I suppose. And for us, that's a very consistent and versatile horse. If I just get up, I should mention I'm in Gigi's Gold, which I often am, for these previews, looking through their race cards and various different tools. This is Super's kind of form profile, and she's won 4 times for us. The boys bought her at kind of out of Rafe Beckett, so the horses in training sale. And yeah, she's won 4 times for us so far. If I just look on National Hunt and handicaps, you can see how consistent she's been for us. 9 runs, 4 wins, 6 places, including wins. So we can't really complain at that effort. And again, yeah, much credit to the team in Newmarket. And I suppose the confidence comes from the fact that she is unexposed in jumps handicaps in general, and certainly over fences. We still don't know what her ceiling is. Obviously, this is a big, big step up. Looking at her chase runs to date, if I just look at all her National Hunt runs here, she on Chase Davies she pulled up. She had a bit of an issue. I think she came back with a slightly dirty scope from that. Had a bit of antibiotics. She wasn't herself, which was obvious. That PU is kind of out of character for her, given the form she was in coming into it. Kind of the antibiotics and the kind of mild treatment after that may have knocked the edge off her for Hereford. She was never really herself. But she was kind of racing up there. She was continually carried to her left if you go back and watch it. And Hereford's slightly kind of cambered as well. And I'm not quite sure that suited. In any case, her best form for us today has been at Flat Tracks, Worcester and Kempton. We put the cheek pieces on for Kempton. Jack made her mind up after she was scrappy at the first, and she never really looked back, really. Jumped and galloped them silly on that decent ground. After the last, she still had loads left. Jack got stuck in a bit and she pulled away again and was kind of doing, well, she hit the line hard. So this trip shouldn't be a problem. It's kind of 2 miles 6 with some of the rail movements. Obviously, she needs to step up, as we know. She's kind of jumping from, well, I should mention Warwick, where the ground completely went. She's not a heavy ground or a kind of soft ground horse, as we've learned. But we kind of knew that was going to be her last run of the season. There was quite a lot of syndicate members there, and it was safe ground. And it was kind of an unknown because she'd grown up and strengthened up a bit. But it was clear to Jack after a few fences that she really wasn't enjoying it, and he looked after her there on in. But she still kind of jumped well enough to a point. So yeah, we come here. She's fit. She's well. She had a spin on the flat at Kempton where she ran well enough. A couple of furlongs further, she may well have won. Actually, if you look back through, that was one of her career best flat efforts in terms of Racing Post rating. That win at Kempton was a career best over jumps, over fences on Racing Post ratings with an okay top speed figure as well. The form obviously isn't worth too much, although we take excitement from the fact that her jumping and galloping really put most of those in behind her, well, took most of those in behind her out of their comfort zone. The second for Harry Fries, she was going okay in it was fairly mediocre race possibly at Cheltenham on her next start. Was going okay when falling 3 out, I think, or 4 out, and looked like she may make a challenge. The point is, well, certainly over fences, we haven't got to the bottom of Super yet. We're not quite sure how good she could be. I think we all think she's better than 128 over fences based on that Kempton run. And this race may tell us plenty. What do I want to say about her chance? I don't want to repeat myself too much. She's fit, she's well, and she's never been. Amy doesn't think she's had her as good as she has ever at home, really, so that has to give us some confidence. I suppose where my confidence comes from a prominent showing and a decent run, and up against a load of hardy handicappers, it would be foolish to be too bullish. But the pace set up here, using the pace map, you can kind of see who likes to lead and race prominently. Given how she won and at Kempton with those kind of aggressive tactics, I suspect we will try it. Of course, this is a deeper race. Richard Johnson and Imperial Presence like to get on with it. Bags Groove, who's got a touch of class and is a danger, and is obviously one of the joint favourites at the moment at sixes. He has a touch of class, but his first run in 400 plus days. He's been lightly raced in the last couple of years. Clearly been hard to train and had issues. Jamie Snowden's horse has a stamina question for me, so I'd be mildly surprised if Gavin was ultra aggressive. And the Hobbs horse can clout a fence. So it's not impossible if Super kind of gets away and is on good terms with herself, and kind of shows the enthusiasm she did after the first fence at Kempton when winning that chase a couple of starts back. It's not impossible she could get a lead, but in any case should be where you kind of need to be based on historical results over this course and distance, which is kind of, well, it's best to be leading or prominent, although of course that's a small sample, but generally leading and being prominent in kind of any handicap chase is the place to be if you have the horse to do it. So hopefully she pings out and she jumps like she did at Kempton. She can get into a rhythm. Jack can go the pace he wants. We can hope that is kind of good enough to be in a prominent position, possibly leading, but we shall see. Hopefully the rain doesn't come too much. And trying to look at this with kind of passionate eyes, I suppose, and without kind of my links to Super, which is difficult. it is a race where she's one of the few in here who's lightly raced over fences, and is open to a bit more progress. I mean, with 10 stone 4, she's got nothing on her back, but she's got nothing on her back. She's rated 128, and she's up against horses who are rated in, the top rate weight is rated 150. So clearly she needs to step up, but everything in here has questions. San Benedetto's got a chance. I mean, look at that Newbury run. He'll stay. He's only £3 above that, but he's not getting any younger. He's been highly tried over fences. I would like to think there's something better treated in here, and it'll be some effort off 11 stone 12. Bags Groove has a touch of class. I'm not going to be shocked if he wins. If Harry has him A1, and some of his horses, and he's had a few winners, you can see there since they returned over jumps, as has Paul Nicholls. His yard are in fine form. Bags Groove's a danger. 147 shouldn't be a problem. I'm just going to hope that he might come on for the run. And the rest, outside of those two, who else should I mention? Potterman, maybe Frowling King, but again, some of this form's only okay. Class 4 novice chase form, that Vivas form only okay. Again, first run in 251 days. All of them in here, I suppose, have bits and pieces of form which would make them competitive, which is why it's 6-1 the field, and it is an open race, and that's why I suppose me and other people in Really Super Syndicate, other members and connections, are quietly confident, and everything crossed, that Really Super will run her race, build on that Kempton effort, and that may be good enough to put us in the mix against these. And if she can get away at any point or lead at any point, and she can jump as well as she can jump, and with her speed in between fence as well, a bit of flat speed, hurdle speed, that would be a big positive for us and would give us a decent chance of being in the mix, in the shake-up, and in the places. The thing that may scupper such a run and may kind of take the edge off some of her positives and why she may run really well is the rain and the ground, and we don't want any more of that, because the softer it is, it just kind of blunts her greatest weapons, I suppose, as evidence in that Kempton chase, which was kind of a natural fluency and speed, that ability to gallop and then quicken as well, and kind of keep going off a decent surface late into the race. And the more of a slog this comes, the less well she'll run, as simple as that. So hopefully there is plenty of decent summer good in the ground. I don't have any kind of, I've looked through the race as I would try to normally, and don't actually have any bullish views. I think everything in here has various different questions to answer. And there's nothing in here that you would think is completely chucked in. Possibly Bags Groove, but he's not going to be as good as he was, but maybe good enough. I suppose Nicholls and the Cobden team up, and they have a lightly race one over fences as well. So I suppose the Nicholls pair I got my eyes on as dangers, and the Harry Fry horse if A1. Adrastos comes here fit. He's had a spin on the flat as well. If he improves for the distance, he could be interesting, but he does have stamina to prove, and he's up in the handicap as well. The Ian Williams team are a bit hit and miss at the moment, 2 from 15 in the last 30 days. If I kind of finish by clicking on the Instant Expert tab and just kind of looking at chase form in conditions as it is, you can kind of see, well, you can see here everything's kind of got form on the ground, good through to good to soft. Not many have kind of tried class 1 level over jumps and grade 3, and this is obviously a lesser grade 3 than you'd get in the winter months. You can see Royal Village's course form, which I suppose is interesting, but he's £4 above his last winning mark. Copper West has course form, £7 above his last winning mark. More Bucks is well handicapped, but the Peter Bowen yard have some questions at the moment. If I just go down here, You can see that 10 from 177 in the last year. So there's holes you can pick in everything, but I've probably been going on long enough. We are hopeful of a big run from Really Super. Fingers crossed there's not too much more rain around, that she can get a prominent position, that she gets into a rhythm, and if she does that around there, we could have some fun, and we will be on the edge of our seats. I'll be having a little each way tickle, and keeping everything crossed. So thanks for watching, and best of